Hugh Hewitt in Studio North. The Fiscal Responsibility Act got passed last week because of Kevin McCarthy's spine of steel and Patrick McHenry's dexterity in details. Chairman McHenry, who leads the House Financial Services Committee, is from North Carolina. He joins me now. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. How are you? And congratulations.
Well, thank you, Hugh. Honored to be with you, and relieved to get a good deal.
Yeah, what people haven't asked you, and what I'd like you to take a couple of minutes to explain, is how do negotiations on something as complex as that proceed? I mean, I just can't even imagine if we had a time-lapse photography of the meetings that you and your colleagues had.
Well, part of this is making sure they understand the terms by which we're negotiating. And the terms by which we're negotiating were the bill we passed out of the House. And there are a lot of things we wanted to include in the negotiations that weren't a part of that bill. But we thought it was better, and we'd have a better structural conversation if we started with the legislation that we passed out of the House to raise the debt ceiling and take on the fiscal House, and include growth opportunities with policy changes. So that was the basis. And frankly, had you gone through a time-lapse photography of this or the notes from that meeting, the first 7 days, first 10 days, 7 days, we'd not progressed at all. They were stubbornly unwilling to come to terms with spending less year over year, and they didn't want work requirements. They didn't want permitting reform. They didn't want to touch any of the environmental laws that we forced them to touch. So it took a long time for us to make a small amount of progress before we had some breakthroughs.
You are quoted as saying they fundamentally misunderestimated Speaker McCarthy, and I think they did. I think they also misunderestimated you and Congressman Garrett. Congressman Grace, tell us a little bit, did the emotions run hot in that room?
Oh, yeah, at times. And we had to explain the context here. At one point, Garrett gave them the summation from the poor mistakes they made when they were in the majority. They could have raised the debt ceiling. The poor mistake they made at the end of the year when they had that big omnibus package that no Republican voted for in the House. They could have raised the debt ceiling there. And then they could have actually taken Speaker McCarthy for his word in February when he said just negotiate, but they listened to Schumer. And so he went through part and parcel of their bad mistakes on strategy and explained to them why we were at the current negotiating table. And at one point, I explained to them that if they looked around, they're in the Capitol. What they wanted, their strategy was that we would be hat in hand at the White House by the X date, and they'd get a clean debt ceiling increase. But we passed a plan, and they were negotiating in the Capitol in the Speaker's suites because House Republicans had passed a plan. And then, of course, they gave us a lecture that there was nothing in the bill that they liked, nothing in the bill for them. They're the ones that said that, and frankly, in reporting that out, that's the reason why Speaker McCarthy said, look, there's nothing in this for Democrats. It was because the negotiators from the White House said there's nothing in this for a Democrat. Yeah. I mean, so we at least agree on that.
Well, their friends in the media are trying to rewrite what happened, but it's a huge win for the Speaker and for you and for the House GOP. Let's go to the bad part, because Ken Calvert's going to be on tomorrow, my friend of 30 years, and we're going to talk about the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. It's a 3% growth. It's not real growth in defense spending, Mr. McHenry. Right. What do we do?
Well, unfortunately, we were dealing with a Democrat in the White House who has very poor defense priorities. You've recounted all the mistakes that Biden has made in his public life on national security issues and national defense issues. This was the best we could do with the arrangement that we had at this table. And we took the president's number on defense. I believe at some point over the next 2-3 years, we're going to have a defense supplemental to provide munitions to our allies. And I think that's important for us to remember that we have an obligation, an international obligation, and an obligation to the American people to keep our people safe and secure and to keep global trade working. It is to our advantage as the largest economy in the world and the largest and most powerful military in the world to maintain that advantage. And this bill, it at least increases defense spending by $28 billion. The
So,
other piece of this that we
Chairman
have to touch.
McHenry, how many of the no votes in the Republican caucus were from defense hawks?
Oh, and for House Republicans,
Yeah.
probably 2 dozen, maybe
Yeah.
more. And the Senate wanted to make a statement, even though with the bill passing, that the defense number was not high enough. And I agree with them, but this was the best we could do at the negotiating table.
Well, it's very good, but we can't leave it there. I think we need Pentagon reforms like you gave us NEPA reforms. And I want to give you the last 30 seconds. The NEPA stuff matters a lot. I practiced NEPA law for 30 years. It could boost our productivity. Did they push back on that too?
Oh, absolutely. We fought them tooth and nail, and without McCarthy and Garrett Graves, that would not have happened. The first change in environmental law since Reagan.
It's a big, big deal. Mr. Chairman, great to have you. Patrick McHenry from North Carolina led the team of negotiators that Speaker McCarthy lined up, along with Mr. Graves from Louisiana. I'm very appreciative of that, Patrick McHenry.